But I'm thinking next week we get something funkier and dirtier. Daddy. Hey, one time my wife and I, it was crazy. All right, it may take you a while. It may take you quite a bit of time to find it. But, okay, everyone, Christ, I need some help. Can I have a heart?
Focus up. I'm talking to you, little buddy, or Karita, my neighbor. Next week, she's going to be on for our annual Christmas episode. I'm telling you right now, this episode is going to be so big that it might take 2 weeks. I'm not exactly sure. Let me just adjust my screen right here. It might take 2 weeks, but Karita will be back next week. We're going to do an hour show, probably right around the same time. We're trying a new time. There's some basketball interference. I'll just say that. Welcome to the Rubio Method. This is episode 113. My name is Chris Rubio. You can email the show Rubio at the Rubio Method. As always, we've got Jenna in the back. She's managing it all, doing all the good stuff. God knows what she's doing. But she makes the whole thing work. I want to thank everyone on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, iTunes, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all those good ones. If you have any comments that you want to make, just make them during the entire show. We'll have a good time. Jenna will make sure they get up. We've got 5 different categories. If this is your first time watching or listening to the Rubio Method, we've got everything happens for a reason. That's the very first category we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how pandering for votes is one of my favorite things to see. Some Jim's Kayak Fish says, where's AC? He's coming on at 8:10-ish. He'll be on at 8:10-ish. We're going to talk a lot of sports because all hell is breaking loose. And then we're going to go to there are winners and losers in life. Talking to people can open your eyes and your wallets. There was a very touching little story that was going around the internet. I wanted to make sure everyone saw it. Third category is accept and embrace. We've got a wild couple weeks of college football with AC Sports Live. He's doing me a solid by coming on. 11 o'clock for you. For coming on before his show at 9 p.m. right after this. So he's going to get warmed up, get his vocals warmed up, then he's going to dominate his show. I'm having a feeling probably going to talk about a couple of the same things. And then we're going to go to working hard is not enough. What you know of college football is no longer a reality. Every single day there seems to be a new thing that comes out and you just go, whoa, what the hell? And I'm spending a lot of time setting things to AC like, have you seen this? And he's just throwing back, holy hell, what's going on? So we're going to discuss that. And then finally, confidence is the key. We've got 5 questions from Jenna and viewers. As always, you can send the questions to Rubio at therubiomethod.com. So let's get moving. Let's get moving right away. Everything happens for a reason. Pandering for votes is one of my favorite things to watch. I absolutely love it. If you don't know what pandering for votes means, it means just if you're in a room with, say, Rubio, and you know I like yellow sweatshirts, obviously, and then all of a sudden you say, hey, I always wear yellow sweatshirts. Yellow sweatshirts are my favorite, and say your favorite color is just blue. And I'm obviously giving this a very basic example, but pandering just means you're playing to the crowd. And I understand you've got to play to the crowd. If you're on a date or you're meeting the in-laws for the first time and say you're a big, boisterous human being, sometimes you got to calm it down a little bit. Okay, I remember when my wife and I were dating, I started to meet some of her friends. At one point, she just says, could you just not be so much of you? And I said, well, that's kind of rude, but I get it. Kind of like fishing. Yeah, I would say it is like fishing, Jim. It is one like fishing. You're using the right bait per little cast out, I guess that's what you call it. So yeah, it would be like fishing, but there seems to be one demographic that really gets it a lot. And it's hilarious to me where you get so many people pandering to the Black community. And to me, it's just hilarious because it's so obvious. And it's like, well, I just don't understand it. And I'm not saying that they don't pander to, let's say, Asians. They really don't. Mexicans, I'm going to tell you one time where they did. Samoans, not so much. Eastern Europeans, not so much. So it's just one that they have this one thing, and it's so obvious that it just makes me laugh every single time. And this goes back for a long route. Both sides do it. I mean, several years back, Hillary Clinton was on a podcast with 2 Black guys, and she's talking about hot sauce. Jenna, do you have this clip for us? Go ahead, Jenna.
They said no, she has to go.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to Black people.
Okay. Is it working?
The odds of her carrying around hot sauce are Slim and None and Slim just left. You've got the same odds of me parting my hair. You've got the same odds of sub 60 dunking a basketball. It's just one of those things that he even said, he goes, oh, so you're just pandering to the black guys. And what did she say? Is it working? So like, come on. I understand that you got to pander for some votes, but when it's that obvious, like number one, that's not even logical. Because most hot sauces come in like a glass bottle or jar. You're not rolling around with a glass bottle in your purse. I mean, not even alcoholics do that. They have like, either they get what's called a flask, or they just get a plastic bottle. You're not walking around with a glass whiskey bottle, just like you're not walking around with a glass barbecue sauce bottle or hot sauce bottle. That's just stupid. So that one is beyond stupid. That's an older one. Okay. Then more recently, Pete Buttigieg, he was a director of transportation, and he was not getting very good optics with blacks. So they sent him out into the street and they said, here, take this bag, this 40-ounce beer, and drink from it. Jenna, do you have this pic? Like, come on, man. Why did you have to drink in a bag? Like, what you could tell he's not enjoying it, or it just, that's not what's happening. It's embarrassing, and it's just hilarious to me. Okay. And then you're thinking, okay, Rubio, so this just happens to the blacks and not the Mexicans. No. Gavin Newsom, Jenna didn't even know who this was, actually. He's the governor of California. He's a very, very slick politician. I'm betting that he's going to be the next presidential candidate for 2028 for the Democrats. He signed a bill. Jenna, go ahead and throw up the pic of the lowriders. He signed a lowrider bill. Now, let me let me read it for you. It's AB 436, bill for lowriders, signed into California law, blah, blah, blah. It basically repeals cruising bans. So the lowriders are allowed to cruise down the streets. They're allowed to use the hydraulics, and they're allowed to be lower than before, because it had to be at least like curb height, and you weren't allowed to bounce down the street with the hydraulics. Who cares? This is what you got really going? Like, this is what you're thinking, what you need? Like that's just a stupid, like, who are you? What are there, like 9 cholos, and there's like 9 lowriders on the street at times? Who cares? Why would you even waste your time making that a law unless you're trying to pander to these 9 cholos? Like, it's just a stupid one. Like, that's just, okay, whatever. You got to do what you got to do, I guess. AC is in the house. He's going to come on in just a second here. But then Gavin Newsom was just on a video with 2 former basketball players on a podcast. Now, those that don't know Gavin Newsom, he's a very slick guy. He speaks really well. He's got phenomenal hair. He comes from part of the Dianne Feinstein lineage, grew up extremely rich. We're talking like rich. All right. And so he's on this podcast, and all of a sudden they start asking about how was it like growing up? What was it like growing up? And now this guy grew up with a silver spoon beyond in his mouth. I mean, he had 2 silver spoons and probably a silver bucket over here. Jenna, play the Gavin Newsom video.
But also, it was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread and 5 stacks of,
it's like the White Stack 5 story.
Come on. Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Bro. Are you talking about me?
Young YG.
YG,
but
man.
Every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball, throwing the ball against the wall until the ball is just like fraying, man. And your arms
Entertaining
falling
yourself.
off. That's it. Whole thing. So just, and then, then this student that was shitty student is in the back with his head down, all of a sudden started throwing the baseball a little faster than everyone else, and started, make a few free throws, because I was sitting there practicing 500 of them every damn night. And in high school, I look up in the stands, my dad's back up there.
Okay, dope.
And it's like, man, and then he's bringing his friends, and you're captain of the team, and you're like, gee, and it just saved me, and it got me into college.
You saw at the very, very end of that video, it shows him with like a Burberry scarf, and he's all prepped. He looks like the typical early 80s movie prep kid, because that's exactly what he was. So it's just one of those things that, did this really happen? No. You had maids growing up. Like, you grew up rich, not like, oh, that guy's got some money rich. Like, oh, you get driven to school rich, like that type of rich. So that story's completely made up. And then one of the most famous ones for the past couple years was Joey B talking about corn pop. So Joey B's in this black community, and he's trying to get some votes. This is, whatever it was, 2019 or whatever it was. Jenna, this is one of the most famous, outlandish Joey B stories of all time. This one, it's so shockingly a lie and bad that I wish I had hair because I would pull it out. Jenna, go ahead and play this video.
The darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. I said, you kidding me? He said, no, if you don't come back. And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat.
I think Jenna just summed it up the best when she said on the side, she goes, what is he talking about? And then Jim right now says, what in the name of Sam Hill? Yeah. So you know that story's all made up, man. There's 100% it's made up. It's just so outlandish and like you can't even follow it. It's one of those where it's like you're kind of listening. If you've ever had a drunk friend tell you a story and they in their mind, they're telling you a good story, but they're like looking over here and doing this and doing that and they can't focus. And you're like, whoa, focus, buddy, focus. And they just can't do it. That's what happened with Joey B. Rusty straight razors. Yeah, man. Jim, you never just threw them in the water pot and let them rust up? That's not a thing. Come on. Everyone does that. What are you talking about? All right. So for this last one, I need to get AC on because AC is a food connoisseur. He says he is. He says he has good barbecue. He says he's a good turkey. So let's bring on AC because I want him to watch this video and watch this facial expression of this guy and tell me what he's thinking. AC of AC Sports Live. I'm so happy you're here to warm up your vocals before you go live at 9. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, muted. No problem.
Okay. All right. So Jacob Frey, he's the mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota has got an influx of Somalians. Don't worry about that. He pans to them a little bit, okay, to the point where he won the election against a Somali mayor because he had two tribes of Somalis fighting against each other, literally. And so he won. And this is a video of him trying some Somali food in a Somalian restaurant. Now, AC, that's all you need to know. I want you to watch his facial expression and watch his actions. And I want you to tell me if you've ever been in this situation. Maybe you went on a date and your girlfriend said, hey, I made this really good meal for you and you're next to her family or anything. Go ahead, Jenna, play this video and you're going to play it a couple times. I'm nervous for him because he's doing the classic. I'm just going to keep stirring. I'm going to keep stirring. He's doing like what you're doing right now. You're moving your tongue around and you can see he's trying to push it to the back. And Jenna says he doesn't swallow. You can see he's like, if I swallow, am I going to puke?
Nope. I've seen too many videos of those guys preparing the food in the back without any type of health department regulations, no grade in the window. No, thank you.
Yeah, no. So he's in pain. What food would make you do that besides turkey on Thanksgiving?
I took my wife once to a Thai restaurant, and I grew up in Long Beach, man, and I've heard some stories, and I smelled some food throughout my years, and sometimes you're like, that doesn't smell like beef, pork, or chicken. What is that? And then I'm looking around. Where is Spot? Where is Ruff? Where's Penelope the cat? Like, it's like, what's going on? So I really had to stop eating. It was a Thai restaurant, and I was just like, this was the mystery meat of the night, and I was just like, I can't do it. It's like, yeah, I don't know what this is.
Well, and then once it crawls in your head, that thought of, oh man, I'm eating Fluffy, you can't get it out of your head, and then you're like, this is I can't do it, and then it's like gets on your tongue. And like he's like Jim says the same thing. He looks like he's afraid to swallow. Like you could tell he gets it in there, and he's, oh God, and it's going here. So he just keeps it stirring. He's, Jenna, play it one more time for me because I want everyone to watch just his misery.
Is it rat, cat? Yeah, look at the bowl.
Yeah,
he looked at the bowl like it was going to change.
But I mean, his big mistake was taking such a big bite, because you could tell he did like the full tablespoon, and just a bad move. So let's move on. AC, I want to go one quick heartwarming story, because you're a kind guy. There are winners and losers in life. Talking to people can open your eyes and your wallet. Let's meet Ed. Ed is an 88-year-old vet who has to work 40 hours a week to survive. 88 years old. AC, I don't know about you. At 88, I want to be eating ice cream, eating pizza, sitting on the couch, playing with my grandkids or either great grandkids, looking at some water, sitting on the lake. I want to be doing nothing. I mean, my biggest adventure is having to pee in the day. That's what I want to do. That's all I want. Okay. He worked and retired from GM in 1999, but lost his pension and health coverage when they filed for bankruptcy. So there's a social media influence that he gets people nominated that, oh, this is an older guy working, go listen to his story. Okay, so this first video is about 1:40, but Jenna, go ahead and play the first video.
I have help scanning this. Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 88.
And still working?
Yes, I have to.
Why do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. 2012, I went bankrupt, and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick, and they when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage, and all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or?
Yeah, I don't have enough income.
What's your dream?
To live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Well, thank you.
Of course. You're amazing. I want to give you $400 here as a tip. From this store and.
Okay, so AC, try not to break down, because if you break down, I'm breaking down. So this is social media. He gives him $400 as a tip. He goes, "You've been nominated."
I'm gonna give him $500 right now.
it goes viral. They start a GoFundMe for him. Okay, because this guy, a couple things that really bother me. Number one, Jenna, you can take that video off. We'll get to the second one in a second. Number one, I'm assuming he has no kids, because
you would figure 88 and out the gate. Yeah, he's got some grandkids somewhere.
He's got to. I mean, someone's got to be helping him out. Number two, once you talk about being a vet, my theory on them, they deserve way more.
They shouldn't have to do anything.
They should do nothing. They should do nothing. I've said it 1,000 times. My theory, if I was president, I would say, okay, AC and Rubio, you guys 3 options once you graduate high school. You can go to college, you can go to the workforce, you can go to the military. If you go to college and the workforce, you have to pay extra in taxes, because the military guy, once he graduates from the military, he doesn't have to pay these taxes. And if you AC or Rubio complain, well, that's fine. You don't have to pay taxes. Just go to the military. But this guy's fighting for your freedom, so you can have the ability to go become a plumber, electrician, and/or college student and/or athlete. So that's my theory on that. Some people don't like it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So let's get to video 2. Jenna, go ahead.
I want to truly say that your wife is looking over your shoulder. I know you've been visiting her a lot, asking about that, and you still have that $400 in my pocket you gave me. With everyone supporting the room, I want to reveal that this is one of the largest individual fundraisers in GoFundMe history. And if you want, you will be able to retire, because we've raised you $1.77 million.
Oh, jeez. Oh man, that's awesome, man.
So they raised $1.77 million for him.
Oh,
Genesis is
man.
amazing.
That's
and
crazy.
He's obviously losing his mind. He's crying.
Nah, I hope he doesn't have any grandkids. Let him go spend it all. Let's go Brewster's millions on him. Just go hard.
100%. All right, Jenna, you can stop that video. We got to move on from that. I wanted everyone to hear that story, but I'm going to start.
Oh, man.
I'm going to start breaking down. So, okay, AC, let's. Oh, hold on. Actually, no. I hope, number one, that he doesn't have any grandkids, and then I also hope that he doesn't let OBJ manage his money. Did you see this clip of OBJ?
I missed it. What is it?
Jenna, play this clip.
$1 in my account right here today as we speak, I'm gonna be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us, and ain't been in the position like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. If I didn't
yeah.
AC, do you want to take some time to think about your answer?
That's a you problem. I can make that work. I mean, I made my little, practice squad money, and I did everything he said I was going to do. I'm going to buy my mama a car. I'm going to buy my house. I'll buy myself a little car. And I was on the rookie minimum. Mm-hmm. If you have a 5-year, $100 million contract, you mismanage your money, buddy.
I mean, and not even close. Like, because when he's like $4 million per year, okay, AC, you bought your mom a house, you bought your mom a car, you bought yourself a little Toyota truck. You got to do what you got to do. Next year, you don't have to do that again.
Don't do it every year. You ain't got a ball out of control every time you get ready to go somewhere. I like Chad Ochocinco. He never spent a penny of his salary.
Well, that's the same as Shaq.
Yeah, everything I buy, everything I wear is fake. Yeah. And I mean, I buy fake tennis shoes. I buy fake jewelry. And my students are like, you got the newest, freshest shoes. I said, these are fake. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you paid $500 for yours. I paid $75 for mine. And you couldn't tell the difference if you tried. Yeah. And it's just like,
Jenna says makes zero difference.
No difference. They're made in the same sweatshop.
100%.
There's
right, probably like one extra stitch.
That might have been the dumbest. That might have been dumber than the 2 videos you showed for your politics section. Like, The Gavin Newsom lies, the Biden lies, and those that's why I don't watch politics groups. Everybody's lying. But
oh yeah,
what OBJ just said made no sense. I'm surprised Ryan Clark didn't correct him. Like, bro, that's just you.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you, I mean, for the love of God, if I gave you $100 million right now, and I said, AC, you're 52 years old, 50 years old, I need you to make that last till 80.
Easy
you
work.
can do it. Done.
Easy work.
Easy work. Okay, so let's move on because this is what I really, really wanted you on for. Accept and embrace a wild couple weeks of college football with AC of AC Sports Live. I don't even know where to start here. All right, so I'm gonna start with Indiana is the top team in college football. What the hell is that?
No 5 stars, no 4 stars. That again, Signetti is a mastermind. I think he has the entire NCAA in a chokehold right now. He hasn't bent, he hasn't broken, he hasn't swayed, he hasn't deviated from anything he said from day one. He said, "I win," and I'm like, that's kind of bold, and he did. And I needed to shut up because he did what he said he was going to do with the guys that he had from James Madison and the guys he recruited these last couple of years. And he got a guy who could walk down the street. We couldn't recognize him. I'm about to win the Heisman. I can't call it, man. And it's the Hoosiers.
I'm not even joking. I forgot they had a football team. Because they were so irrelevant for so long. Obviously, you think Indiana, you think basketball. We get it. You know, yep. I mean, you think white basketball players, i.e. Larry Bird. I mean, but it's all of a sudden, Indiana is the #1 football team in the country. And they toyed around with Ohio State last week.
If they could find a way to find a little bit more offense, they beat the brakes off of Ohio State. 13-10. They have but they, Ohio State's Ohio State, but Indiana looked like they were off a little bit offensively. They could have easily scored 28 points. So they're my favorite to win the whole thing after what I saw last week.
They have to be. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about, and I'm just peppering you little tweets all weekend because this stuff's happening. I'm like, I need another opinion on this. WSU coach leaves after 1 year. How devastating is that for Washington State University? They just got this guy over from South Dakota or North Dakota, one of those Dakotas. He's there, rah, loyalty. And after I don't even think it was a full calendar year. He's gone.
I think you have to preface every recruit. Hey, this is a business. And while I'm here, I'm going to give you all I got. But if you get an opportunity, or if I get an opportunity, hey, man, you got to do what's best for you. But right now, I want you to come here and play ball for the school. Don't say for me, because that's going to be the key. No. Like I've watched what UCLA's coach is doing, the new coach, Bob Chesney. He's saying all the right things because he's been prepped for this. Mm-hmm. As soon as Penn State calls with $100 million, I'm gone.
He's gone.
And it's just part of the business. But I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to lie to you and say, this is my dream job, I'm never leaving. That's not the reality anymore. The real is I'm going to leave when the best opportunity presents itself.
Well, AC, think about when you and I played at UCLA, how from my first year to my senior year, I had one coach that was the same the entire time. That was, I just lost his name. Jesus. Assistant head coach, Bob Fields. He was the one coach because if we did well, coaches got poached. If we did poorly, they get fired. You basically got to stay like 9-3-ish, 8-4-ish, right around there. And so I always tell any athletes that I deal with, never choose a coach or school based on the coach. Go on the academics. If you're a very specific major, if it's like psychology or sociology, you can get that degree anywhere. Obviously, you're not going to go to Kansas to become an oceanography major. Okay. And it's one of those, pick the surrounding area. Could you see yourself going to USC, which is a beautiful campus, but it's in the middle of hell? Or can you see yourself going to, say, University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho, but there's literally nothing around it, where you'd be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And so it's one of those things, like you said, wherever you go, just think to yourself, I don't care if the coach loves me or hates me. It's irrelevant to me.
Yeah, it really has changed the whole process, the whole dynamic of picking a college with your letter of intent. It's such a temporary thing. Like I'm going with the intent of if everything doesn't go as planned, it's on the plan B. And it's not even a bad thing. It's do what's best for you, kid. I'm not even going to be mad at you. So it's really different than when we transfer was a bad word when we played.
Oh, it was a 4-letter word.
If you said it, you're on the bench for the next 3 years. If you even mentioned it, you're on the bench. And now my son's exit meetings were about, hey, who's hopping in the portal? Like it's nothing. Like and then he's at campus now. He's like, no one's here. It's like we had a successful season and all my teammates are gone. And it was just kind of like, what in the world is going on? And that's just the new normal. So even when I heard Chesney talk today as he addressed the audience, we'll see who's still here when I get back from coaching James Madison next week. And we'll see who we got. We'll see what we need. And we'll move on from there. I'm like, that's just how you have to attack it.
Well, we used to always say you invest 4 years for the next 40 years of your life. Now it's you invest 4 months for the next 40 years of your life. You just got to keep going. AC, when we were playing, remember how we'd go through August and we had Hell Week and oh my God, it was bad. And it was September and you started to get in the groove of it, but kids weren't on campus yet. So you were still kind of figuring it out. It was basically like a 2-month-long Hell Week, then October, then November. And if your team did well enough, you were lucky enough to go to a bowl. And the bowls were great. For those that have never been to a bowl, it's usually like a week, maybe longer. I think Aloha Bowl was like 10 days or something. It was to the point where it's like, okay, I need to get out of Hawaii. And it was almost like your Christmas bonus, so to speak. You got to go to a different area. We always stayed in nice hotels. You got your gift bag of crap. You get your per diem money. You could always end up making a little money because you're not going to spend $47 per meal. Notre Dame and Florida State just declined a bowl bid. What? Explain it, please.
It sounds like a company making a decision without a focus group. Like if you ask those kids, if you want to play, not you guys are going to the pros, the guys that are on the team that are grinding, and some of them don't get as much playing time as the others might. It's a showcase for the next year, maybe. Play the game for the kids who don't get a chance to play. You're not in the bowl championship series, so it's not going to like we go out there and make a bad showing, we're going to lose recruits. Well, you're going to lose recruits because you didn't play in a bowl game. I'm not going to an institution that doesn't think about the kids first. They're more concerned, like Notre Dame is going to get a black eye from this because it just sounds like they're like taking their ball and leaving because I can't play in the big dance. But we all saw what happened to you. So we understand. But play against USC in the big bowl game and get those kids one more game, one more chance to play. Because when you sit on that field the last time you play, like you robbed those kids of the last time they're going to play. They played their last game, and they thought they had one more game. That happened to my son in high school because of COVID. They thought they had another game, and they didn't have another game, so they got no closure. I feel for those kids, man. Notre Dame is really disappointing me right now, but at the same time, they are who they are. They're still independent. They still do their own thing. But I have a segment on my show tonight from my Tender Love Report. There are like 7 teams who have declined going to a bowl game, and they're 5-7. So it's like it's going around. It's not just the kids now opting out. It's the entire university.
So that brings me to my next question. Is the bowl series or just bowl games, are those dead?
I think after the backlash that schools get from this year, I think they'll go back to playing them because they're going to hear from those kids and those parents. Because I heard it in the high school ranks this year when my high school opted out of the playoffs because of allegations and what could be. So they backed out, didn't go. Could have, chose not to. Those parents lost it. And those kids crying. Their high school careers are over. So you imagine the same thing in college. I come to the school 5 years. Rudy doesn't get in the game if we opt out of playing that last game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's long-term. It's like a coach saying, I don't want any one and dones in basketball. Then you won't get any of those recruits.
Yeah,
you have to say the right things. Now, if it's because you lost your coach and we don't have a coach, okay, maybe. But you have assistant coaches. Like LSU is allowing the coaches that Lane Kiffin took with him to go back and coach at Ole Miss for the bowl game because they didn't want the kids to be up without any coaches. That's at least they can do. But at the same time, Lane Kiffin shows like, hey, forget that. I'm going for mine. Okay, it's not just Lane Kiffin. Iowa State's coach left for Penn State. Those recruits he just brought in 2 days prior now don't have a coach that they just signed with.
Okay, so let's talk about Penn State, because Penn State, they had a downward spiral, started ironically with UCLA, where all of a sudden Penn State was, I mean, I think the week before, James Franklin, who is obviously, I've told you 1,000 times, one of the most handsome human beings on the planet. And that what they lost, I think, 3 in a row, and Penn State loses their mind and they fire him, and he goes to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech gets all those recruits, and Penn State ended up with losing recruits and I think like 3 commits. Okay, is this going to go down as one of the biggest coaching blunders of all time?
Yeah, I mean, you go from Penn State, top 10 recruiting class every year, to the last ranked recruiting class in the FBS rankings. Like, it's unheard of. And who comes in there? Like, this was the reason why I think we got Bob Chesney. He wouldn't go in there at this deficit to fix a Penn State issue. At least at UCLA, the expectations aren't as high, and he's getting paid close to $7 million. So he's like, okay, I get a big pay raise in 3 years to try my best. But at Penn State, they got a conundrum, man. They got this. This is almost as bad as Sandusky. That this is going to be bad for at least 3 years until somebody comes in there and understands how to recruit Penn State, how to bring in those special type of talents. It's the best job in America. At the same time, it's the worst job in America. Like I said, it reminds me of when Paterno passed away.
100%. We're going to move on to our last segment. I got you about for another 5 minutes before I let you go, because I know you need to get prep and all that good stuff. Yeah. Okay, working hard is not enough. What you know of college football is no longer reality. AC, you and I both know football costs a lot of money, from cleats to equipment. I mean, helmets alone, I think now are right around $900 if you're buying just, a better helmet than we had. And all could be halted if people stopped watching and going, but everyone goes and watches. You fill up stadiums no matter where you're at, and people are going to keep doing it. And now, and Jim is on there talking about NIL things and going this way and going that way. Jenna, can you play the Ed Orgeron video that came out today?
What? I say, hey, Coach, you've been out of coaching for a while, and how are you going to adjust that NIL? I said, well, it's a minor adjustment. And they said, what do you mean? I said, back then, we used to walk through the back door to cash. Now we just got to walk through the front door to cash. Hey, a joke, obviously.
Yeah, big time joke.
Hey, you know what?
Okay.
A big joke. A big joke.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I mean, but this is where I say schools, let's use Washington State as an example. You got Washington State as opposed to Alabama or Clemson or even UCLA or USC. They're not going to be able to compete because they're not going to be able to get that much money going through NIL unless something else is going to happen. Thoughts, AC?
I think there's still a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like, the NIL is a front behind the front. Like, these are the dollars we have to get student athletes. How did USC get the #1 recruiting class? It's like we will never know, especially the private institutions. We'll never know. And I saw in the comments, it's not as bad as Sandusky. I totally agree as far as what the situation was with molesting young boy. I'm not even debating that. I'm just saying, as far as them getting recruits in, it's going to be a while before they can get recruits in. I don't want to take lightly what Sandusky did. That was horrible. That was evil. But we're talking about something like a team not having recruits. So I apologize for that analogy. But as far as Orgeron, he might get his national championship investigated now. I mean, you just opened up a can of what Saban and all those Kirby Smart and all those guys have been doing before NIL, is how do you get such good recruits? And every single year you just retool, you just refill the cupboard, and you're getting all the top notch 3 deep at every position. Everything is everything. And you just laugh about it. I mean, LSU had the best receiving corps for the last 5 years straight, all NFL players. And it was just like, well, how are they doing it? Everybody just lining up for that? I'm like, no, those are bags. So I know the guy who was the dad of an 85 Oklahoma Sooner player. And he was like, the things that we got I can't tell you because Oklahoma will be on probation today. If I
Yeah.
told you what we were getting in 85 and through 88, it was just like the SEC, Big 12. They had like when SMU got Eric Dickerson, it was just like, okay, well, how much did they pay him? They would say, well, he didn't pay him anything. Yes, they were. Those guys were getting paid, and we all knew it. And Nick Saban knew it. When Nick Saban saw that everybody's going to get paid the way his kids were getting paid, he jumped ship. He's like, hey, it's not going to be easy anymore. So let me go ahead and retire, get in this booth and call some games and talk about some games because coaching them is not going to be the same. So this is not surprising at all.
Jim Scarano says Indiana is the #1 team in college football, ? That would have never happened before NIL. I agree, but I don't think theirs is a big NIL push because they didn't get, like you said, 5 stars, 4 stars. It wasn't like they were bringing, truckloads of money to these players. They're doing it with a lot of blue collar players.
It's a portal thing with Indiana. He went and got handpicked players that want to play a style, a brand, the way he likes to see kids play. So yeah, he could throw them a couple of $1,000. We're not talking millions. We're talking a couple of dollars to get them to come, make it worth their while. But the way you play, the way you approach the game, I like this kid. He fits what we do. That's kind of what Chip Kelly was talking about at UCLA, but he never got around to it. So when you get to the type of guys that fit your system and what you're talking about and buy into what you're feeding them, then you get those guys who play like that. I mean, you hear those guys after the game. That quarterback was on that microphone going crazy. And I was just kind of like, oh, boy, he's a meme. Everything he says is a meme.
Yeah.
He was just going like, oh, dedication. Don't back down. He was like a soldier, like repeating his cadences. I was like, what's going on in Indiana? He's brainwashing these kids to believe, and they believe.
100%.
And until the wheels fall off, they're going to ride that thing out. But I just know he's preaching something to these kids, and they've bought in. And it didn't take millions of dollars to pay these kids, a couple thousand to get them to stick around for 3 years.
Okay, so now is this the future? I sent you this as well. In a groundbreaking endeavor, the University of Utah Athletics is entering into what could be a $500 million plus equity partnership with Otro Capital in New York, featuring the creation and shared ownership of a for-profit entity to operate athletics. So translation, basically Utah, the University of Utah is saying to their 4 or 5 biggest donors that they can also have ownership stake in this new group if they put in X amount of money per year. So these big time donors will finally get to play make-believe athletic director. So I create Rubio Sports. All right. And Rubio Sports is going to control UCLA. And AC, you're one of my biggest donors. I'm going to say for $5 million a year, AC, you get a managerial position, control of this corporation. And what now Rubio Corporation is going to do, Rubio Sports, we're going to manage every single thing sports related at UCLA. So the ticket prices, the clothing, the gear, the food, the parking. Okay, so now this is basically a professional sports franchise now. And so Utah is the first one to do this. And I've heard that there's like 20 of the schools basically just waiting right now to jump on this ship. So now you're going to have these mini corporations running these. And anytime you see a corporation start to run something, it usually doesn't end up with a better quality product. What are your thoughts?
Talking about the Los Angeles Clippers.
Bingo.
And it's people who want to be in the room but shouldn't be in the room. Utah has a program that's respected nationwide, doing the things that they've been doing it the way they've been doing it. But now you invite people into the room who are fanboys, and then you kind of like you're gonna kind of like take away some of the luster and some of the authenticity of the program when you have all these chefs in the kitchen, and then
100%.
you're gonna get a bunch of Johnny Manziel type players where their names and Instagram followers, and we got all these guys where Utah has been blue collar for a long time, and you better not play Utah Friday night because you're gonna get
no.
And it's just like, well, that's what you knew, and now they're gonna change that all into some type of, like you said, franchise that's mimicking a pro franchise, and I don't know if that's going to be able to sit well long term. It's going to look like A&M. When A&M has all that money and all those people have something to say, they're going to be dormant for a while until they allow a coach and a real GM to make the decisions based on who we bring in here and how we're going to operate. If it's going to all be for glitz and glamour and skyboxes and celebrities in the front row, you kind of dilute what you've put together. So it's going to be nothing less than interesting to see if Utah can keep that blue collar image of smash mouth, athletes that will pound you between the trenches and still have some great athletes on the outside, and being hard coached and well prepared, type of teams, where now we're going to be, Kawhi Leonard, CP3, who else we got? James Harden. just a team full of celebrities who aren't that good anymore.
Yeah. AC, I'm going to let you go, but tell everyone what they're going to see in 15 minutes on AC Sports Live.
Yeah, tune in tonight at 9 Pacific Coast time, AC Sports Live tonight. Of course, talking about my raggedy Eagles and how we're going to backdoor into the playoffs and go to Cancun with the Cowboys. And talking a little bit about Bob Chesney's interview, his press conference to introduce himself to UCLA's faithful, and just the college football playoff top 12, and did they get the things right as far as who they allowed in, who they didn't allow in, and then the Tuna Lug Report. Notre Dame and Anthony Davis is back, so tune in tonight at 9 p.m. sharp.
AC, I appreciate you. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Let's go to the last segment. Confidence is the key. Confidence is the key. We got 5 questions from Jenna and viewers. I didn't even do any commercials tonight. I got rolling with AC. We're having a good time as always. Jenna, hit me up with some questions. Where are they? 5 questions. Rubio, do you choose clothing based on comfort or style? I'm pretty much like every dude. I'm all about comfort. If I find a shirt or a brand of shirt that fits the right way, or shorts or anything like that, I will 100% buy that exact same shirt or shorts 10 times in a row. I'll wear it every single day. I don't care. One of the worst things that I ever learned about was someone bought me a good pair of socks, and now I have to have good pairs of socks, and they are so comfortable, but they hug your feet the right way, and it pisses me off because they're not cheap. So I'm 100% about comfort. Next question. Rubio, what are your thoughts on bombing the Venezuelan drug boats? Okay. It doesn't bother me one bit. I mean, if you can see, it's clearly that they're drug boats. I mean, it's not the SS Minnow from Gilligan's Island. And I don't care if you have to bomb them 6 times. If it's stopping the flow of fentanyl and cocaine and all that good stuff in here. And I know everyone's like, well, it's a crime of war or whatever. No, if you're in international waters, I think I just read today that you're essentially a pirate. So you don't have a country. So it can't be a international event or whatever like that. So I think this is all going to blow over. I mean, it's one of those things that you get certain people backing drug boats now. Like that's who you're backing. Okay, good move. So I don't care if they, like they said, oh, one time they had to bomb them twice. Bomb them 10 times. I could care less. Fantastic. Number 3, Jenna. Rubio, do you like popcorn? Popcorn is a weird one for me because I do like popcorn. It's got to have a lot of like that ranch type seasoning and or caramel, but I don't, a certain amount of butter is fine. But when you get to like where it's just weird, too much butter, where it's like saturating your hand, like that's too much for me. I don't eat popcorn. Why don't I eat popcorn? Because I don't like the fact that the kernels get stuck in my teeth and my gums, and it pisses me off. So I won't eat popcorn, even though I like popcorn, because that bothers me. Which brings me to the thought, they've made seedless watermelons. Why can't they make kernelless popcorn? I have no idea. Okay. If they can make a seedless watermelon, they should be able to make kernelless popcorn. Kernelless? Popcorn without kernels. Let's say that. Jenna says, what are good socks? Bombas. Bombas. I might buy you a pair for Christmas, Jenna. Phenomenal. Question number 4, Jenna. Rubio, should healthcare be considered a human right? No. Why? I mean, it's one of those things that obviously everyone kind of needs it. I mean, but you can get away without it if you're healthy enough. But when it starts to be taken advantage of, I mean, you can't give it away for free. You can see how that works in certain other countries. And number two, it's one of those where just because you're alive doesn't mean that you have the right to anything and everything. That's me being a little bit rude. I think maybe basic healthcare, which that pertains to anyone anyway. I don't care if you're a hobo or illegal or anything. If you walk in a hospital and you're dying of a heart attack, they're not going to push you to the curb. I know that for a fact. I know a lot of people that work in the hospital business. They're 100% going to treat you. And then someone else gets the bill, i.e. the government, i.e. that's why taxes are so expensive in certain areas. And that's why people get pissed off about paying taxes for other people. That's why people get pissed off about illegals. Next question. Final question. Rubio, your career had a theme song. If your career had a theme song for 2025, what would it be? If your career had a theme song for what would it be? Whew. Maybe Working for the Weekend. Because I've been doing a lot of work, a lot of traveling. So I do absorb any time that I do have with my friends and family on weekends. It's usually not on weekends though, due to the fact that I'm running camps and things like that. So I would say Working for the Weekend, but that weekend would be just, thank you, Jenna. Jenna said good one. It'd be one of those, I guess it would have to work. All right. So let's move on to the bottom line. The bottom line. This is all the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, pandering is pathetic. Even AC, who I didn't even want him to come on the show early because I know he doesn't like politics, but even he was like, good God, man. And Scarano the entire time. Thanks for watching Scarano the whole time. He was saying just like, oh, this is so bad. Like, what's happening? So pandering is pathetic. Number two, open your eyes, your mouth, and your ears. This goes back to that old guy. I think his name was Ed, where that guy just wanted to talk to him, found out a good story, and Ed ended up basically winning $1.77 million. So good for him, but you got to open your eyes, your mouth, and your ears. Number three, it's a whole new world and it's not going back. This goes to the college football and the NIL and coaches and doing this and doing that and just everything. It's a whole new world. And everyone says, oh, we wanted to go back to this, and I see a lot of memes and GIFs where they're saying like in the 80s, everyone wanted to go back to the future, up here, you're 2026 or whatever. And everyone now is like, it'd be cool to just go back to the 80s where there's no cell phones, there's no technology. You don't know what you're doing. You're just having a good time, enjoying life. You know who else had a good time? I had a good time tonight. It was fun. We went for, 52 minutes tonight. I want to thank my sponsors, Art Beat Incorporated. They do a phenomenal job. If you need anything printed, they can do it. And obviously One Shot Charlie's. I think they're open 3 days a week right now. And they do a phenomenal job. One of the best places on the planet. If you have any questions, you can always email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Don't forget next week is the Christmas episode, maybe one of two. I don't know. It just depends on how long my little buddy wants to talk. And don't forget, you've got about 8 minutes until you watch AC of AC Sports Live and also The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. They go at 9 as well. I think they switched it up now. So I usually have my iPad open and my computer open and I'm going back and forth. So on that note, Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.